On March 12th, Duterte arrived in The Hague on an International Criminal Court arrest warrant. The crimes against humanity charged against him were for murder, torture and rape during his deadly war on drugs. He was president from 2016 to 2022. However, in a press conference in Beijing, China's foreign ministry warned the ICC against what it called, quote, politicization and double standards over his arrest without elaborating what that was. Professor Guo, China, we know, claims non-interference in the sovereign issues of other states. Do you think it's odd that Beijing would choose to defend Duterte at this time?
I think it's not weird, not strange at all.
Oh.
It's pretty consistent with Chinese attitude and relation with President Duterte. Yeah, because at his presidency for 6 years, China-Filipino relation became actually very harmonized, especially on the problem of dispute over the islands or shores
in the West Philippine Sea.
Yeah. Although, I mean, the International Tribunal made the ruling in 2016, but it basically didn't impact President Duterte's good relation with Beijing. Yeah, so China's very negative reaction about this arrest, of course, it is very consistent with the relation. Yeah.
Right, and Professor Su, so then can we say it's pretty definitive, conclusive? You know, the accusations that have been brought against Duterte, suspected of being bought by China, you know, in China's pocket. Now China defending his arrest. Does it prove that those accusations were true?
Well, it really depends. But there is another thing that China really wants to do is to send a signal to some Chinese partner countries that you know, if you so, for example, if you build a very good relationship with us, and it's likely that when you get into trouble, you know, we will, you know, try to defend you against these, you know, international criticisms. And it also serves as a kind of an alternative authority, I mean, to the Western-led international order. So I think
is it effective, Professor Su, to have this Chinese statement or backing? Is it not more the kiss of death?
Yeah. Well, probably effective for some countries that was, you know, controlled or ruled by the authoritarian governments, because they indeed need some sort of external support to justify their rules, right? And so it's in that sense, China might help, you know, in terms of helping them to maintain power.
Okay. Now back to alleged Chinese espionage in the Philippines. The further 2 Chinese men accused of spying had paid a trio of Filipinos to drive them through the city while using an IMSI catcher, a device capable of mimicking a cell tower and intercepting messages from the air over a 1 to 3 kilometer radius. They operated near the presidential palace, U.S. Embassy, Camp Aguinaldo, Camp Crame and Villamor Air Base, according to the Philippine National Bureau of Investigation. Colonel Sheshi's Trinidad Philippine Military Chief of Public Affairs said these individuals were conducting covert and unauthorized intelligence gathering activities, posing a threat to national security. Professor Guo, Manila hasn't gone as far as to say the intelligence was gathered on Beijing's behalf. What's your view on that?
It is actually the same situation as we discussed earlier on
with
these
the Palawan
students. The intransparency is the condition for later the 2 governments to exchange hostage. So I mean, the 2 governments use not to be too specific about the details and about the identity of all these individuals. So that's for the preparation for later exchange of hostage purposes. Yeah, and
so you're saying that basically proves that this espionage is actually state-backed? in the Philippines?
It is actually a kind of basic mission for Chinese spies or espionage at all these countries, including Taiwan, Japan, South Korea, and of course the Philippines. So deploy all these espionage equipments near important government buildings, that's actually quite basic. And it is not considered as a very high level of espionage mission deployed in foreign country.
Well, that's interesting, Professor Su. So do you agree with that assessment that it's actually, pretty mundane, pretty basic level, or do you see this as pretty serious, and the possibility of this network sort of growing and linked? I mean, these 8 suspects, we assume that they might be linked if it's all state-sponsored.
Well, I largely agree with Professor Guo, and which means that I think this kind of espionage activities are pretty common, and either governments, when they discover this kind of espionage networks, of course, it's good for their sort of, credit that, they try very hard to defend the national security, but they know that this kind of networks are everywhere. And so basically, I mean, they try their best and to try to, catch, these spies, but like Professor Guo just said, it is also it can be served as a kind of tactics for exchange and this, our own spies with your own spies, and as a kind of leverage of diplomatic tool.
And so would that indicate that these spies are very valuable to Beijing, or do you say that they just would do this on a normal basis?
Again, this kind of espionage activity in terms of national intelligence work level, it is kind of primary, basic mission, and so it is not so.
So you expect every spy that is arrested in the Philippines, they will try to exchange. So therefore, we should expect another 5 or 6 Filipinos to be arrested in China.
The number doesn't need to be equal. Yeah, it's based on the value of all these individuals, but not the number. It is a value. I mean, the value means the activity, the espionage activities they conduct in a given country.
Right.
Yeah, so that was the situation. So the government, I mean, both Beijing and Manila is not going to be very specific about the details of their activities or about the identities of all these individuals.